Still a good guy. So, Morty.
We had Morty.
We had
Thank you
Morty.
very much.
Carol, you're next. What have you read?
I read Self-Portrait in Green, and for the occasion I dressed all in green.
You did dress all in green,
Yes.
actually.
And you were
dress, necklace,
also reading it.
eyeshadow, everything green. Wow, the green.
I know, right?
Yeah, but when also we met you, you were reading it under a tree, like in the
Yeah, so
grass. Just everything was green there.
So we're just like, we're looking for Carla. I think she said she's coming, and we just look and we just see like this portrait of a pretty lady under the tree in green reading a book. Like, oh, it's Carla.
Everything is matching.
Yeah, it actually was picturesque.
Oh, very sweet.
Isn't there a painting called the Green Lady?
Maybe, for sure, there must be.
Okay,
The Grey
one-
Lady from Harry Potter.
The Grey Lady. Oh, that's true.
Mm.
Or the Pink Woman.
Rowena Ravenclaw.
Okay, I'm fine.
Woman in Pink from...
Woman in Pink?
Wait. Is that the Sherlock Holmes, TV show one?
Oh.
Like, Woman in Red, I think, is the regular, the book? I don't know.
I don't know, I keep thinking of Madame X, but she's not in... She's in black, I guess.
Oh. So, first,
Doesn't
you
matter.
were telling me that you wanted specifically to get books relating to colour, right? You'd read something about
I did.
blue already?
I was reading, I still haven't finished it because I like these two books better. But there is a book,
Apparently.
Woman in Pink! Oh, no, okay. Don't look it up, please. Nobody
Not safe for work. No, definitely not.
Different. I was reading a book called Duet. I still have to finish that book because I started reading this and I like this better. And the other book was basically a introspective story of a woman that almost read like a stream of consciousness. And her favorite color is blue, and she sees the world around her in tones of blue.
Is she
and
blue, dabba-dee-dabba-da?
she's very blue, she kind of is, to be fair. It starts quite melancholic at the beginning. But I still have to finish that book, so more on that later, I guess. But this one is...
On that later.
I like that word. That was appropriate. This one is Self-Portrait of a Woman in Green by Marie Ndiaye. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It is a French book, so it's translated. I read it in English. But it's much different. It's a little bit... It's a weird... It's very well written, but it's also very weird. It feels almost like a fever dream, I think, the way that it's written. It feels surreal. And it's set in different parts of France and then at a certain point in Burkina Faso. It's a very short book. And is basically this woman, the protagonist, which we don't know the name of her, but everything is from her point of view. And she meets different green women during her life. And she has a weird relationship with all of these women, and they basically, the kind of line through that connects these women, or like that, the common trait that they have is that it feels like they are taking the place of somebody else that was a different person, and then they became this green woman. That's kind of like the idea that you get from it, or that she explains. And she also weirdly connects the color green with cruelty at a certain point.
Oh.
Which was very interesting to me. But at a certain point in the book, she also seems to
Is
like...
that why you're wearing green?
Yes, that's exactly it. But also she
Do I sit next to you, Dina?
explained a lot, huh? But
Or else
also-
he's been afraid to speak for quite some time.
But it also feels like she kind of, whenever these green women kind of disappear from her life, she misses them somehow. It feels like they bring some sort of interest in her life and make her in some way unique, in a way that she doesn't feel she is otherwise. But basically, the first woman that she sees, the first green woman that she finds, is she's just driving her kids to school, and suddenly she's looking at one of the houses, or one of the many houses on the... She lives on the Garonne River. One of the houses that she sees has this banana tree outside, and she catches a glimpse of a green woman under the tree. And she drives to the house, and she asks her kids if they see her too.
Mm-hmm.
And their kids were like, "Oh, are you joking? There is nothing there." But the whole thing is written very weirdly, almost like it's a dream. She drives her kids to school, and then she talks about the first ever Greek woman that she met, which was this teacher who was incredibly mean. That's when she says that she connects the color green with cruel.
Right.
And this teacher is basically a substitute of what would be a mother, right? In that sense, in this scenario. She tries to see this woman again. She doesn't meet her. She goes to town and she meets this other woman that she thinks is her friend Jenny. Talks to her and realizes it's not her friend Jenny, it's another woman who's wearing green.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman tells her something very weird. There is a quick black thing was seen around the city. The mayor knows about it. They see it in the schoolyard as well, and she's really worried because her kids are in the school. And then suddenly she realizes it's not Jenny. This woman goes away. She meets her friend Jenny, actually, who's wearing pink, and her friend Jenny repeats the same exact thing. We never know what this is. It's quite, I think, metaphorical in a sense, because this thing comes up again in the end.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of things that are kind of foreboding in the whole book. This mention of this sort of quick black thing that goes around and is menacing. And then there is also the theme of the Garonne River, who is very agitated. It's growing and growing, despite it being always hot weather. The Garonne River is almost about to erupt. No, erupt, what is the word in English?
River? Flood?
Flood, yes. And there is this constant threat of a flood, right? And she says specifically, we know that the Garonne River is not an old man like the Danube. The Garonne River is a woman. And later we see what that has to do with anything. So she talks about this too, and then she gets to meet the woman that she saw under the banana tree, because she gets so obsessed with her that she goes to knock on her door. And the way she meets her, she sees her on the balcony, and this woman just throws herself down from the balcony, basically, but doesn't get hurt. Goes to her, starts talking, invites her inside, starts talking to her, and talks to her for hours, and she's so bored, and I'm so bored, but I cannot detach myself from this. And at a certain point, she's like, okay, I have to go to pick up my kids, and she leaves, and this woman keeps talking to herself, basically. And I think that she says it like, I know the name of this woman, her name is Katya something, and she's like, but I know it's not her, I think it's an imposter, it's somebody else, and it almost feels like she's a ghost.
Why do I feel like this is Coraline?
It's so bizarre, because
yeah, there would be something in Coraline that they just jump off and fall, and it's like, oh, how are you today?
Yes. And this is very interesting that you bring this up, because the next green woman is her mother.
There we go, okay.
There you go. But that's the weird thing. She talks about her mother and she says, my mother is like this very habit-driven woman.
So when you say, how are you today, in that voice, all I hear is, so how's Mary? Yeah.
I don't know if I can dedicate myself full-time to the old portraiture. I don't know.
What is this?
His father's hand.
Oh my god, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So how's Mary?
We interrupted you with shenanigans.
It's okay. This is just better.
Much better.
I'm sorry.
So this woman is like, she goes to meet her mother, and she basically, she talks about her mother. She says, she never talks to her mother. Her mother lives in Paris, somewhere in a suburb with her two sisters, and she's very like straightforward woman, very like, she never looks out of her way for the fear of an opportunity coming her way. She always goes, wears her scarf on her head and goes around and never sees anything, right? But at a certain point, she receives a letter from her mother telling her, her mother is 42. I have a daughter, a new daughter, just born. Come and meet us. Goes and meet them, and her mother is a completely different person. She sees her completely differently. She's with a new husband, she's got this little daughter, and she says, even though she's not wearing green, she is a green woman, one of these green women, right? And they stay with her for a little bit, and before leaving, she gives her a green scarf to bring with her. The thing is, her mother at a certain point loses the daughter, loses the husband, her daughter gets adopted, her husband goes away, and she goes back to how she was before, even more lonely because her sister do not live with her. And that's also a pattern, like the green women disappear at a certain point. Another green woman is this is the weirdest story, I think. She meets her once. The story is of a friend of hers who is in her 50s, she divorced, her kid is estranged from her, doesn't want to talk to her, goes back to live with her parents, and suddenly starts seeing this man and his family, this man was her lover when she was a young woman. He's got a family now, and she goes to see him and his wife. And she basically sees this life that his wife has as the life that she could have had, and she really envies it. But when she goes to talk to his wife, the wife says the opposite. She's like, she keeps complaining about him, she hates her life, the way it is, blah, blah, blah. And one day, she goes into the house to have breakfast with the wife, and she finds her hanged, basically. She's hanged herself. And she then marries the man, right? But after a year they were married, they're just walking in the market, and they meet a woman that looks exactly like the wife, all dressed in green.
Okay.
But she's
Victoria!
But I thought you would.
Yeah. Exactly like that.
So I apologize for asking now, what exactly does it mean for the woman to be in green? Like, a woman in green? Just cruel?
There is two things. One is, she's a substitute. Like, even when she talks about her mother being a woman in green.
Okay, so it is the Coraline thing.
Yes.
Substitute.
It's almost like, she does these actions that feel like, oh, she smiles and everything, but she sees in her eyes, or she thinks she sees in her eyes, that it's all a facade or fake. When she gives, for example, her mom a green scarf, her mom goes to put it on her head, but then remembers it, I'm not supposed to do this, and she puts it around her waist. So it's almost like it's a different person taking over.
Okay.
But it's not very clearly, there are not clear rules, right?
You've ended up in, like, Nightmare on Elm Street land, like dreamland type thing.
Yes,
Okay.
it's all kind of, there is a poetry to it, but it's all very strange. But anyways, the wife, who is the green woman, she acts very cruelly towards them. Not cruelly, but she feels like, she's this beautiful woman all of a sudden, very successful, very everything. And she becomes what she could have been, the other woman, the friend could have been, right? They get obsessed with this woman, they end up getting divorced because they were so obsessed with her. She goes back to live with her parents, she treats her parents horribly, and at a certain point she just dies. She takes too many pills and dies. And we don't know if she did it on purpose or not. And her parents are almost, like, they are sad but they're almost relieved of the fact that she's dead, right? She goes to see this friend of hers, her parents, knowing that her friend died, and instead of her friend, there is the green lady talking and chatting with her parents, that are laughing and everything and smiling and all of that. And then she goes to meet her sisters when Katya, the other green woman. In the meantime, the Garonnes flooded the streets and everywhere is flooded. She has to pick up Katya with a boat because her house is completely flooded and everything. They go to Paris to see her sisters, and Katya is bored and disappears. And she feels like, there is no green woman in my life, what am I going to do? And she goes to meet her dad in Burkina Faso. There she meets her. We meet because we don't know about her, but she talked about it before. She said, the other green woman in my life is my stepmom. Her stepmom, we get to know in this case, who used to be her friend, and then her father, who seems this guy who likes to have values, because she says, if she's still his wife, because he likes to change wife so often and all of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all like to change
Exactly.
wives as frequently as possible.
Carla especially.
Yes, she's my wife very often.
Mr. Waffle has.
Yes. Once a year, please. You have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
No one gets that.
Yes,
Like, this is just a joke for the three of us.
But he goes to see her. She goes to see her and her dad especially, And she comes to know that her dad is basically into poverty. They got so many kids that are not her stepmom kids, they're his kids, and they're all boys. And her dad keeps getting angry, he doesn't want to eat, and doesn't want to live anymore, basically. And her friend, who is, again, all dressed in green, even in this case, she's like, at the end of the meeting, she's like, I'm going to come back to Paris at a certain point with you, because I'm tired of this man and everything. So she goes from being her stepmom to be her friend again, basically, at the end. So she doesn't become a green woman. She gets away from being a green woman, basically. And she goes back to Paris, and the whole thing ends with the Garonne River. The Garonne River had flooded everything. She's going on the road. What happened?
Tell him to throw his pen away.
I'm playing with my pen.
It just keeps falling apart. And you throw it all over the kitchen the entire time.
Why do you still have this?
I can throw it away just because it wasn't mine. I suddenly left it behind. I didn't want to throw it away.
It's not.
But it's a pen.
It's in bad condition.
It's not a pen anymore.
Yeah, that's also true.
Okay, finish your book.
Yes, the last page of the book is basically her going through the countryside in France along the Garonne River, and the Garonne River has flooded the countryside, and she's like, I think the Garonne River is also a green woman because she is somewhere she's not supposed to be, and she is also unpredictable in the same way that green women are, and that's how it ends.
It's like 87 pages or something there?
It's very short,
Yeah, put that.
and it all reads like a fever dream, basically.
So, do you still want to finish more color books? That's the first question.
I have to finish the Bluets for sure, which is a nice book. Just these two books just touch me a little bit.
But has this book been good enough to make you want to? You're not like, well, that's enough color books.
No,
Or you're
this
like,
one
cool.
was a really good book. Like
Maroon next.
I know it sounds weird because the story sounds very weird, but it's so well written. There are some little quotes throughout it that are so interesting and so poetic and nicely done.
Does it get a yeah?
It does get a yeah.
So we have heavy books this time, absurd books, and trash books. That is pretty much
We hit them all. Yeah.
the categories for this time.
Next time we all have to read a trash book, I think. A different one.
Well, I definitely am reading a book that I hate.